Hey guys, my name is Marina and you're watching your monthly forecast for Virgo for the period between the 20th of March and the 19th of April. Basically, this is the period when we have the transit sun in Aries. And during this whole period, the transit sun will be in your 8th house in your horoscope. So, what does it mean and how you can use this energy? First, we should start with the fact that Aries is a very active sign. So the transit sun there will require from you to, be really active, to take some new steps, find some new solutions, new directions. At the same time, 8th house is one of the most complicated houses in the horoscope. It's not related with, some kind of visible activities. This is the house of secrets, the house of, things that are really private for yourself, really, really precious, and you might even want to keep them only for yourself. So there is a disharmony between the sign and the house. Aries is not in such a harmony with 8th house. So there should be, you may feel some kind of impulse to be active, to do lots of things, because we have also lots of many planets in fire signs. But at the same time, this is a time when you may also feel more introverted. You may feel like your actions are not noticed by others, that this is not, the time to reveal yourself. You may feel more, sometimes people are, too serious when the sun is in their 8th house. They may go through some kind of critical situation as well. It's not necessarily to be something, really dangerous or life-changing, but in some way it can be some kind of, critical situation after all. So you should be prepared that you may need to react, you may need to be more conscious regarding this area. Another meaning of 8th house is that it's related with finances. It's related especially with money and resources coming from other people. So if you're working in the bank sector, in something related with, economics, investments, then in this case, actually, this can be a very beneficial time for you, when you might be really successful in your career. You can, there might be some kind of improvement in this area of your life. Well, we should say also that on the 27th we have a new moon in Aries, of course, again in your 8th house, and the new moons are great for, starting something, putting the beginning of something. So that's a great time, for example, to make some kind of investments, to take some kind of financial decisions, how to manage your money, how to manage others people's money, for example, your partners, or how to attract finances. For example, if you need someone to invest in your projects, in your future plans and goals, now is a very positive time to find that support. But we should say that Aries is the sign of our personal actions and initiatives. So in order to achieve this financial support, you should be the one who should search for that. Don't expect other people to come find you and offer you. Instead, you should try to, search for the people who can support you financially. And that's the best way, actually, to use this energy. Otherwise, we can say that you can be more, also in some way, more suspicious. It might be more difficult for you to trust other people. Very often, the 8th house is related with that. It's not easy to trust others. So this is not a time, for establishing such close connections with others. It's more positive instead to focus on your inner world, to focus on your, some things that you do on private. After that, on the 31st, we have the transit Mercury entering Taurus and your 9th house. So previously, during the past few days, so from the 20th until the 31st, transit Mercury is in your 8th house as well. And 8th house, as I said, is related with, some kind of seriousness, even unnecessary seriousness. And after Mercury enters your 9th house, there might be an improvement. So your thoughts might be more optimistic. You can think in a more optimistic way. You can find, you may start to believe in something, to think about your goals, to think about what you want to achieve in the future. And generally there should be some kind of positive note in the overall situation around you. Also, that's a great transit for traveling, also for some kind of education, for new skills, especially if they are related with not so concrete knowledge, but more something like a philosophical knowledge, or something related with cultures, not necessarily something that you are using in your daily life. After that, on the 3rd of April, we have the transit Venus, which is retrograde, going back to Pisces. So for you it will be in your 7th house. The retrograde Venus can challenge you in some way, especially in your relationships, because Venus is traditionally related with relationships, and especially romantic relationships, but also all kind of partnerships. And Venus retrograde suggests that things may not be so fluent in this area, and 7th house is also ruled by Venus, again related with these topics. So we can expect that this is not the best time, for example, for some kind of negotiations. This is not the best time to reveal your feelings in front of your partner. This is not the best time to search for, support from other people. It can be a positive time, for example, to make something related, with your past, for example, to connect with a partner that you previously have been in a relationship. Definitely old relationships can be restarted on this transit. Venus retrograde is usually related with this opportunity for all of us, but when Venus is retrograde in your 7th house as well, then these possibilities are much higher. So this can really be a time when you can restart an old relationship. You can connect with a partner that you previously had, or you can meet him even on the street, even without planning that. Just life can meet you with an old partner. You should really avoid, as I said, new relationships. Of course, marriage is not favorable. Venus retrograde is definitely not a great time to get married, but especially when it is in your 7th house as well, you should definitely avoid that. After that, on the 5th, we have the transit Saturn turning retrograde in Sagittarius, which for you will be in your 4th house. And as we know, Saturn is the planet of responsibilities and obligations and, things that you have to do. And the 4th house is the house related with our home, with our family, the place where we are living. And the change in the direction of Saturn, especially the stationary period, intensifies the energy of the planet. So it means that around these few days you can have lots of responsibilities related with your home, related with family members. You can feel restricted also. For example, if your parents or another family member needs your support, your help, you may feel, that you have to do that, even if you don't want. It's just a time, with Saturn, we do that because we have to. So this is a time when you may need to pay more attention on your home. After that, on the 9th of April, we have Mercury turning retrograde in Taurus in your 9th house. As we know, Mercury is the ruler of your sign, Virgo. which means that generally the retrograde phases of Mercury are more important for you, and you should definitely avoid starting new projects, all kind of things that require smooth communication with others, or where you're working with an important information and you need to be really careful with that. The chances are very big that some mistakes can be made. You can forget about something. Some kind of misunderstandings also are possible. Of course, when we talk about ninth house, it is related with your travelings, your trips, your plans, your goals, and things may not be so smooth. Things may not be as you have planned them. Sometimes there might be some pleasant surprises. After all, ninth house and the sign, Taurus, the sign where Mercury is retrograde, trines your own sign. So it is possible that something positive may appear from that after all. But generally you should be prepared that things will not be final. If you start something, after some time you will need to change that. Some corrections will be required, or they may not be as you have planned them. And be more careful with your trips, with traveling, especially with documents. For example, if you need to travel abroad, check if everything is, if your documents haven't expired or something like that you have forgotten, or check the hour when you're going to leave for example, your plane or something like that. Because all kind of mistakes, and usually these are some small mistakes that can bring some big problems, like a lot of things to repair after that. Then on the 11th we have a full moon in Libra and Aries in your second and eighth house. The full moons are the times when we need to be become more conscious. We need to realize something, to have a really clear idea about the situation. And second and eighth house, this is the axis related with our finances, so you need to be more realistic, to be aware of your financial situation, to admit, for example, if you have some problems in this area, to admit if you are spending too much, or if you are not returning your money that you have borrowed, that you owe to somebody else. Another meaning of second and eighth house is also related with our energetical balance, and this is a time when you need to be more focused on that. You need to pay attention on your health as well, because that if there is some kind of energetical imbalance, this can affect your health after all. And this is a wonderful time, for example, to separate, to leave an old habit, especially related with your finances. For example, if you want to change the way that you're spending your money, the way that you're managing your money, now is a great time to do that. To become more practical, to become more, realistic about the situation right now. And finally, on the 14th, we have the transit Venus turning direct in Pisces in your 7th house. Generally, after Venus becomes direct, there should be an improvement in all kind of relationships, in all kind of love matters, romantic relationships, partnerships, especially for you. When the retrograde Venus is in your 7th house, it should definitely bring some positive changes in the area of relationships. As we said, it's possible that some past relationships can be restarted, or you can decide to leave something in your past related with your with this area of your life. And most of the time also Venus was retrograde in Aries, which was your 8th house, so it suggests that your financial situation might be improved as well. So these were the most important astrological indications, And thank you very much for watching. See you next month again.